All right. Let's hello everyone. Welcome to God's Prepared Warrior Live, and I am so glad that you guys are here with me tonight. Scott says nice intro. Thanks for that intro. Well, you know what? That's my very first ever intro. Thank you for the 5x5, my friend. I appreciate that. Welcome to all of you here in YouTube, all of you over on TikTok. Thank you for joining me tonight. And I'm super excited to be here with you guys. I love Mondays because we get to be together here. So I am so glad all of you are here. Let's see who's here tonight. Ohio Valley Prepping. Welcome in, my friend. Guys, if you have not followed Ohio Valley Prepping, make sure you are following him on YouTube and make sure you follow his channel. Home from South Dakota. I am going to make money. All right, welcome in. Welcome in tonight. Kane Corso, welcome in, my friend. Thank you for joining me tonight. Scott Hummer's in the house. Southwest Minnesota. This is Kane Corso. Awesome. Thank you, my friend, for joining me tonight. Who else is in here? I see Salt Mist. Welcome, Salt Mist. Thank you for joining me again, my friend. She is in the house. And C. Johnson is here with us. I'm just going to call you CJ. CJ, welcome in. Thank you for joining us here tonight for God's Prepared Warrior Live. I am excited that you guys are here tonight. So, and then, of course, welcome all of you over from TikTok. I am glad that you guys are here. Welcome in, Mark. Carolyn, welcome in. Thank you for joining me tonight. Make sure you guys are tapping that screen so we can get this thrown out further so more people can join us tonight. All right, so as normal, let's talk about the channel news, right? This is an important part for me to share with all of you because you guys are the ones that really make this channel what it is. And, without you guys, I'm just a guy behind the microphone and, behind the camera and just talking into oblivion. But you guys are joining me here, and I am so excited that y'all are here with me. So, who else? Somebody else is coming in here. Who else? The Rule Report. Hey, my brother Rule, welcome in. I see you here. If you guys haven't followed his channel, make sure you follow the Rule Report. He has an awesome, awesome channel. Has a great video out every single morning. Well, all of us that do YouTube have a video to run every day. So make sure you're following him as well. And thank you for joining me, my friend, tonight. So let's look at the news here. I'm going to go backwards today because it's going to look a lot different, but it's actually the same. So I'm going to tell you right off the bat, this week we have brand new 46 new community members. And I am so excited about that because every week we're actually seeing anywhere from 45 to 55, sometimes maybe 60, just depending on the flow of new community members joining in the social media sites. So I just want to welcome all of you. If you are new, if you're going to watch this on replay, and you are new to the channel, welcome into God's Prepared Warrior channel. My name is Fernando, and I am excited that you guys are here. So let's look at the numbers. YouTube, we gained one new member on YouTube. We're sitting at 1,114 subscribers on YouTube, and that's awesome. I'm really excited about that. TikTok, my friends over here on TikTok that are clicking the screen right now because they're about to get an applause from me because as of today, we surpassed 4,000 followers on TikTok. We're sitting at 4,009 followers, which gave us 37 new community members this week, which is pretty awesome. Facebook, we're still at 216 followers on the Facebook channel. And on the group page, we are still sitting at 45 members in there. On X, we gained one new follower, and we're sitting at 1,051. On Instagram, we gained 7 new community members, and we're at 1,145. So that's pretty awesome, giving us that 46 new community member mark for this week. So all of you guys, I am excited. And don't forget to continue to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Share with a friend. And what we want to do over here is talk about prepping physically and spiritually, and just encourage you through it and help you to see how both of those are needed in the preparedness realm. So that's the channel news, guys. Thank you so much for all that you're doing. And thank you guys for joining and hanging on. My wife is on. You guys can see her there. She says thank you for all the prayers, and she is doing well. And so thank you guys for continuing to pray for her. And you guys can chat with her there in the chat, and she will answer you there too as well. All right. Yes, CJ says hit the thumbs up. Yes, please hit the thumbs up. That helps out too. All right. Okay, so let's look at some updates. Bug Out Weekend is November the 27th through the 29th. So we will be meeting in the afternoon in Kerrville on November 27th. That is the weekend of Thanksgiving. And we will be camping and hanging out there till the 29th in the morning, when we will pack it all up and thank the landowner and say our goodbye. It's going to be so much fun. I'm excited. So all of you Ohio guys, there's the date. There is the date. We're working towards now the time of arrival and departure and all of that good stuff next. And so that's going to be a cool thing. So just wanted to give you guys the dates for November the 27th through the 29th. Bug Out Weekend, Texas edition. And it's going to be so much fun. You guys are welcome to join me. All I need to know is that you're coming. So send me an email at godspreparedwarrior@gmail.com and say, Fernando, I'm coming. I am coming to go camping with you, and I will add you to that list. Of course, I'm going to need your email so that I can email you the itinerary, so you guys can have that available. So that's going to be awesome. Grit and Grace, welcome, my friend. Thank you for joining me tonight. If you guys have not followed Grit and Grace, the Farming Florist, she has an awesome channel, and she throws out content probably every day, I think. But I've gotten a lot of great information from her, so follow her page. And she is in the chat tonight. So guys, you have the whole option to ask all of these guys questions. So it's not just about me. So if you know Rule, if you know Grit and Grace, if you know Ohio Valley Prepping, King Corso, just ask questions. They will answer you, I am sure. All right, so that's Bug Out Weekend, Texas edition, November 27th through the 29th. Mark your calendars, and it's going to be pretty fun. I'm excited. The Warrior Prayer this last week, or the last week of February, went really well. If you weren't able to join us, make sure you send me an email and say, hey, Fernando, I want to be part of that. It didn't last long. We had, I think, maybe like 10 prayer requests to pray for and just kind of talk about that. And it was a pretty awesome time. So let me know if you want to be part of that, and I can get you on that mailing list as well. We will be doing this once a month. So the next Warrior Prayer is on March the 27th at 7 p.m. And it's a Zoom meeting. We will meet for 40 minutes. and we will gather together, pray for the requests that are actually coming in through the channel. So I'm really looking forward to the next one. So if you would like to join me, send me an email, godspreparedwarrior@gmail.com, and I will get you that information too as well. All right. So busy weekend, right, guys? Uh, I'm excited. So tonight is going to be a little different. I'm still going to go in the news, and we are going to look in the news, but the last two news articles that I'm going to talk about tonight kind of will segue into a free-form conversation about those last two things. And I really want to see what you guys think when we get there. I'll talk a little bit about that when we get there, and we will. I would like to see your comments, and if you want to ask me a question, make sure you put it in all caps. And if I miss it, hopefully Salt Miss will remind me or copy it and paste it in, and I'll see it. So let's look in the news. I think I found some important things for you tonight. And the search continues for Nancy Guthrie, who is the mother of Savannah, right? Savannah Guthrie. So we are actually entering the 5th week into the search for her. She's 84 years old, and she is the mother of Savannah Guthrie, who is one of the newscasters on NBC Today, on the Today Show. And so they have actually given a $1 million reward, offering for the recovery of their mother to actually be paid in cash. So that's one of the latest updates. Over the weekend, it says that Prima County Sheriff's Department said it was focusing resources in the case, which has reportedly been handed off to a task force of homicide detectives and FBI agents. So they are still looking for Savannah's mother, and I think it's just something that we can keep in prayer, and just pray for that situation. It's a pretty crazy situation. The DNC announces today, this is the next one, announces today that front-runner cities and dates for 2028 convention will not hold a midterm convention. So the DNC is already planning for their 2028 hoorah, I guess, if you want to call it that. And they are starting pretty early. And so that, I thought that was something to know and kind of think about. Here's the next one. This is coming from AP News. It says the U.S. says that Kuwait mistakenly downed 3 American jets during the Iranian attacks. If you guys are following this, I don't know if you are, but 3 American fighter jets were mistakenly downed by friendly Kuwaiti fire Monday. As military said, all 6 crew members are safely ejected from the F-15 Strike Eagles and were in stable condition after being recovered, the U.S. said. So yeah, we need to keep our troops in prayer. This is a really crazy thing, and we gotta make sure that we're watching this, because I am always praying for our troops and hoping that God would protect them in all of this. I think right now we have lost 4 military personnel, and so let's keep those families in prayer that have lost loved ones due to this conflict. So just thought I would share that with you guys. The next one is coming out of okay. Yes. Okay. This one's coming out of Austin, Texas. So if you guys have been paying attention over in Texas, there was a mass shooting Sunday night in Austin on 6th Street. And this crazy guy, started shooting up a bar. And many people were injured. I believe there were two people that were unalived, and then there were 14 others that were wounded. So the suspect was wearing clothes with an Iranian flag design, with the words "property of Allah." So the security, or the Austin Police Department, took this individual out, and this is what they found on his person. So this was a pretty crazy thing. So keep Austin in prayer, and the families that have lost loved ones, and those that are injured. I think that's something for us to pray about as well. And yeah, it's getting crazier by the minute, right? So the next one says the next phase of the Iran war will be even more punishing, Rubio Trump officials brief Congress on. So they're already planning the next phase. Secretary of State Marco Rubio briefed the Gang of Eight on Monday afternoon. Congressional staff from these committees were briefed over the weekend, according to the White House, and all Congress is briefed and scheduled for Tuesday. So they're meeting tomorrow. So this is an important thing to follow because it's not done what they're doing, and there's a lot of red tape that they have to cross to do it, and I think that is so important for us to know. All right, here is the last one, and this one is a bulletin. Homeland Security Department alerts on potential attack amid war with Iran. It says here, we are most concerned that Iranian-aligned hacktivists, right, will conduct low-level cyber attacks against the U.S. networks, such as websites and things like that, right? The U.S. Department of Homeland Security also says that it has warned law enforcement agencies of the potential for isolated lone wolf attacks, ongoing military strikes in Iran, and according to the security bulletin that was obtained by ABC. So this is why I chose these three for the end, because Austin was something for us as preppers, right? If we are preparing ourselves, right, for whatever, right, anything, right, this is something for us to pay attention to, because if you're not familiar with Austin, Texas, 6th Street, right, is a street that is really blocked off from any kind of traffic, and it's a street that's full of bars and clubs and things like that, which is really close to the college, right? And so UT, and so it is a place where people gather, right? And in Austin, it is the what I would say the perfect place for bad things like this to happen, because there are so many people in this one place, right? And their vehicles are not there because you have to park kind of far away, and then you have to walk the rest of the way to get to these places. So it's a really bad scenario that has played out. So it was isolated to one specific place, and APD came out, and they eliminated the threat really quickly, and a lot of people were hurt, and a few people lost their lives. So, I kind of want to kind of talk about this a little bit because they're connecting this guy because of his apparel to what has happened in Iran. And it's like what I say in my videos in the morning, right? What happens over there is going to eventually happen over here, right? And I truly believe that there are many people that are in the United States illegally, right? And they are have been planted here for this kind of a thing. And and we can see with this thing that has happened. Am I saying that this is going to be an event that we see all the time? I can't say that. Um, but I can say that, we are going to see probably an uptick on that kind of activity coming in. David Workman, hello, my friend. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, so Scott Hummer says there's also shooting in Cincinnati, 7 wounded. I saw that also. Yeah, that is correct. So we're seeing an uptick on these kinds of situations, and situational awareness is really important for all of us because it can be, it's not like we're warned ahead of time that this event is going to happen here or there at this time or at that time. We now have to live in a way of vigilance, right? I don't know if you noticed, but in my latest videos I have been hammering being vigilant, right? I think we've hit the be prepared a lot already, and I think we need to hit more and more vigilance because a lot of people are not vigilant. And I think that in the important thing to remember is that whenever we're going to go out, we need to have that heightened sense of alertness about us because just never know, right? And you kind of need to know what to do when a situation happens. Hi, Shelly. Welcome in tonight. Thank you for joining us. Um, and so, it's important for us to really, really be aware now. It's not it's not going to go back to the way it used to be, right? I hear a lot of people say, Fernando, it's gonna die down, and apparently, I have not seen a regression to the way of things before, and I continue to see this continue to escalate a lot in our world, right? And so we have to be protective of our families, of ourselves, and we cannot any longer allow the phone, allow other distractions to take away our vigilance from the ones that we love when we are out and about, right? And I think, when you if you do a Google search, I didn't even do this, I didn't think about it until just now, of how many in the last year of violent attacks that happened in bars and clubs in the United States. I wonder what that number would be if somebody wants to pull that number up right away. What would that look like? Because, we're barely March the 2nd, and it's crazy of how much violence we have seen already in just we're in the third month of this new year. And so yeah, it's getting pretty crazy out there, right? The little one, 1021, welcome in. Hello, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm glad you're here. um I'm gonna make money, says I'm all for vigilance. I fear an October 7th type attack on our soil. I feel the same way too. Um, Only because we left the gate open and everybody came in last administration. So this is why I am vigilant, right? Because it's not just us Americans here, right? We have bad actors that uh, have come in through the open gates, and so you're welcome. You're welcome. And so it's important for us to really pay attention. Solomon says, "Yes, LOL. Their chief has a Facebook page, and it's pretty funny." All right, I might have missed something. Oh, you're talking what Shelly was saying. Okay. All right. Um, yeah. So I think that is pretty bad. Now, when you look at that, and then you look at how the next phase of the Iran war will even be more punishing. I when I found this publication today, this is coming from CNBC. Um, it made me think about this is not like um, this attack is not like Venezuela, right? Venezuela, we went in hot, and shock and awe, and we went in and we went out, right? This is not that, right? I know this is not World War III. I know this is, I call it a war because they're lobbing missiles and bombs, and they're blowing up buildings and all this kind of stuff. So, it is a war, right? Um, you know, is it a legal war? No, not yet, right? It's not declared World War III yet. Will it? I don't know. Russia has already said, that they'll help. The only ones that are really silent right now is China, unless something's come out and I haven't seen it yet. But you know, this is something important for us to really pay attention to, because they're looking at escalating this thing even more. And this is not going to be a one and done thing. This is going to be longer than 4 days. It's going to probably be longer than a month or two, or even 6 months, and maybe even a year. I don't know. But this is not Venezuela. It is something totally different. um and it has to be fixed. Scott says Iran is attacking civilians. Yes, and that's why we are there. And so, did I think that? Let me ask you guys. This is a question you guys can answer. Did you think that when we went in there that Iran was going to back down, or were they going to escalate like they did? Did you guys think about? Do you guys, when that first happened, did you think, oh no, these guys are going to retaliate, or this is going to be it, right? I was hoping that this was going to be it, but it's not it. It's not done. These guys are the way they are to the death, right? So, that's what that is. They're fighting for their lives, right, and for their cause, right, which is death to America, right? Which they are saying. So the little one says yes to retaliation. Yeah, I was hoping it was going to be a one and done like Venezuela, but yeah, um, but I knew that my thinking was it was going to be here, right? But they started out there and hitting all these other bases where the U.S. has their troops and things like that. I don't know if you noticed, but they've been also bombing the hotels, because apparently some of our troops are staying there. I don't know how true that is, but they've been attacking the hotels and bombing the hotels. They mean the little one says they mean business. Yeah, they do. They really do. Um, OVP says this is about what I expected. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, but they're not done. So I know that this publication is true to form, because of the retaliation, right? So when we look at Russia and Ukraine, one goes and they do their thing, and then the next one does their thing, and it kind of goes back and forth like that. I kind of feel that this is how this is going to go. But at the same time, I I am like some of you who say, yeah, this can actually happen here. And I truly believed it. I believe it, and it came true when this happened in Austin. So, it has been confirmed that this was in a result from what happened over the weekend. So, is there a tie there? I don't know, but the clothing that the gentleman is wearing, or that the man is wearing, not really gentle, shows that he was for Iran. So we're going to see sympathizers. We're going to see just crazy people coming out of the woodwork because they're probably already here in the United States. Scott Hummer says our allies will run out of defense missiles in a few days if the current volume continues. Yeah, that's why it's important. Yeah, we have to really pay attention because it's really not a war. It's, they're just trying to police, right? This is a higher level of policing that's going on. And so, tonight I just wanted to bring to light the importance. And if you've been following me this last week, and probably the week before, I've been talking a lot about us being vigilant and us being ready for these kinds of things, right? We I think we do really well about stockpiling food and water and all that good stuff. We do that really well, and but I think that there are a lot of things that we lack when it comes to prepping, right? When it comes to situational awareness, when it comes to having the defensive tools that we need, when it comes to training with those tools, when it comes to, stockpiling the items needed for those tools, and we live in a world where inflation is happening, right? And those things are getting more and more expensive, right? So I would encourage you to really look out for deals. I have gone to bulkammo.com, and I have purchased, my freedom seeds from there. I also look around to a few other websites. For example, I also have bought from, what is it called? I already forgot, and I can't use my phone right now. But I'll put a link in tomorrow's video for the places where I have bought my freedom seeds and bought them really inexpensive. So you guys can take full advantage. And I was just showing my friend over the weekend that there's a bulk order, I think, of 250 rounds, and it comes with four clips. This is a 5.56. Comes with four 30-round clips, and it comes with a speed loader and 250 rounds of freedom seeds. And I believe they were just maybe $1 and some change a bullet, right? So in other words, you're paying somewhere around $209, but you get all the other stuff free, and it's almost like $1 bullet, somewhere around there. The way we looked at it. So, I will add the links to. I don't get anything from those, but I like to look for discounts and things like that. And so I will post those links in tomorrow's video so that you guys can, stock up on those things. I think it's important for us also to really have a plan. You might say, Fernando, we're just going to the grocery store. It's just down the street, right? I'm going to agree with you on that. It is just down the street, because I have a grocery store that's just down the street, like really down the street. And but I will tell you that whenever something happens, exits are blocked. Um, Roadways become blocked, and you need to have a plan. I mean, it's getting down to that, to where we really have to now plan where we're going to go, because you never know what's going to happen, around the corner. And I would rather be ready to really defend my family, get us to a safe location. And if it's going to take a little time just for me to put together a plan, just to go down to the grocery store, right? I would rather put together that plan, and that way we have the ability to get around, to communicate, and just make sure that we're safe. So, I would encourage you guys to do the same. I don't do it out of fear, because God is the one who protects us, right? The Bible says, no weapon formed shall prosper, right? And so I truly believe that. But God gives us a brain and, a thought process to be able to put things together so that we can be good stewards of the families that He has given to us to take care of. Shelly says, I don't know who runs either Facebook account, but they are both hilarious, very creative. You got. I am going to make money, says teach your children and your grandchildren the plan. Yes, that is very true, my friend. I did a video a while back about teaching our kids all about prepping, right? Bringing them into the prepping world, not and not throwing them in the deep end of the pool of it, but getting their feet wet, right? Explaining to them why we do these things, right? Maybe you walk them through your pantry and explain to them, this food we have put together because, we grew it in our yard, or, we canned it, or, whatever the case may be. Explain that to them, bring them into that information so that they can understand what that's for, right? So yeah, you're right. I'm going to make money. We need to teach our children that, because guess what? One day they're gonna need to be ready themselves. Um, OVP says if they're going to do the shady things, they better stay in the big cities. They're in the big cities. That's where I am, OVP. I'm trying to get out of here. They don't want to be out here in the country playing cowboys and sand people. Yeah, you are correct. That is correct, my friend. But yeah, I don't want them in the city either. They need to go somewhere else. Psalmist says, I never thought that they'd back down. It's not in them. Yeah, it's not. They are hell bent on really taking out the United States. And so, we have our work cut out for us now that we've gone and stepped on the ant pile, to say, over there. So it's important for us to just keep our leaders in prayer. I sit back and I'm like, man, I don't think, I can say safely that, that's way above my pay grade to think about, what to do, with all of that. So my posture is just to go to the Lord in prayer and, pray for us to pray for each other, right? To pray for one another, and to encourage one another, because, that's what I'm doing on this channel. I want to encourage people, to get out there and prep. I was having a conversation with my boss. I promised I would share with you this story, but he asked me on Friday, right? He asked me on Friday. We were taking a break from work, and we do a walk every day. And he said, so what do you think, Fernando, about, this Iran thing? And I said, well, Scott, I said, it's going to go down this weekend. And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's going to go down this weekend. I really feel that that's what's going to happen. There's good weather this weekend. The planes are going to be able to fly. It's going to be at a certain time because of religious reasons, and it's just going to go down. And sure enough, I had this feeling. I had a feeling, and I stayed up. I stayed up, just following Truth Social, because I knew that if anything was going to happen, the president was going to come out and say something. Sure enough, 2:30 in the morning is when I caught it, and yeah, I started pumping out TikTok videos, which YouTube kind of um, took it down on the reel, so you probably didn't get to see that reel. But if you go to my TikTok page, you will see the video there, and it's the video of President Trump, giving his speech about what was happening. And YouTube shot it down, and it was banned because copyright or whatever. I don't know. It wasn't me talking; it was the president talking. So you know, but I'm not worried about it. So, but yeah, so he on Saturday for the event, right? Because we had the event on Saturday. He came to my office. He's like, Fernando, you called that thing a nail on the. You hit the hammer on the head, and I'm like, you know what, Scott? I mean, it's just looking at everything. It's being vigilant, right? That's what I've been talking about. It's not like really rocket scientists, or you don't have to be a rocket scientist to really know and follow some of these things, right? You can just kind of tell there are warning signs, right? Two ships out there in the ocean, strike the strike carrier groups, right? Positioned, right? China, showed satellite images of the air bases that had all of the U.S. planes parked, right? And so looking at all of that says, yeah, I think this is going to happen. It's just a matter of time, right? And then at that point, excuse me, at that point for me, it was looking at weather previous wasn't good, and this weekend was going to be excellent, right? Yep, sure enough. And he's like, man, you call that really good. And I said, it's not really hard to guess. You just got to look, and it's there. They're telling you in the open, right? Just like this publication is telling us that the Homeland Security Department is alerting on potential attacks amid the war with Iran. So they're looking at, all of these cyber attacks that are coming in. They're looking for, these attacks that are going to happen around us. So today, and all this last week, I think it was just important for me to really speak on vigilance, because I see a lot of people who are still not really paying attention to things happening around them. So, guys, I think the more we get into this thing, the worse it's going to get for us. Let's see. Shelly says tomorrow I have staff meeting at school to bring up updating our emergency buckets and plans. Yep, I'm glad y'all are doing that. That's important. Scott says it would be nice to if Kuwait would stop shooting down the F-15s. Yeah, there's a way to stop that. I'm just saying, but yeah. Salma says that's right. OVP behind every blade of grass. That is correct. Yep. Scott says 100%. Salt mist. That's one of the reasons that we're all armed. Yeah. They would be fighting just troops. Yep. They wouldn't be fighting just the troops. That's right. They would be fighting all of us. That's so true. And I think that's just so important for us, right? To be more informed. So I want to encourage you guys, as you gather with your family, as you gather with friends, sometime this week, whenever that happens, have a conversation about, being vigilant, right? Even ask the question, what are you guys doing to protect yourself in the event of a mass shooting, right? Start the conversation, right? You guys know everything. I don't have to make a video for you guys to know something new, right? You guys, follow my channel and a lot of other channels that talk about prepping. And so you guys have the conversation starters to be able to talk with your family members about these things. And so I would encourage you, you might have some family members that aren't preppers. Ask them that question. What would you do if something was just to pop off wherever you are, at the grocery store, at the movie theater? What would you do? Um, how would you work through that issue, right? My friend and I, Lord forgive us, but we look at people, we people watch, and he is adamant about whenever he sees a guy in flip flops, and he'll always tell me, if poop hits the fan, that guy, he's gonna have some bad feet when he has to run and those flip flops break. Yeah, so God forgive us. I think that's funny. Um, yeah, Psalmist says, agreed, Scott. Hey, Mondo, thank you for joining me tonight. So yeah, I mean, it's a oh, we have to be more vigilant, right? We have to pay attention more, not out of fear, right? I mean, there is a way to do it out of fear, but we're not doing it out of fear. We do it because we're good stewards of the things that we have, right? God has given us things, right? We're watchful when we're driving our car, right? Because God gave us that vehicle, and you don't want to buy a new one because they're so dang expensive now, right? And so we're watchful to that. We're watchful to our family because God has given them to us to take care of, right? And so we got to watch over them. um you know Thank you guys for praying for me. Not to switch gears, but this kind of talks about security. So I have a security background. Used to be work in prison as a correctional officer for a while, and so I learned security. Then I used to do security when I was in seminary for the school that I was attending, and so that is my background. And so at work on Saturday, when we had this event, we had over 1,000 people. It was more than just 1,000, but it was over 1,000. And I was in a very corner of the warehouse where I was located, or I was stationed, and my whole posture was security, because I'm one of the armed individuals at work. And so I don't play a role of security, only on events like that, but we work alongside law enforcement. And so there's a team of us that work alongside with them. And so I was in the very back corner of the warehouse. And, the whole time I was there, as all of these people were flooding in, I had a security awareness about me. And, you know, my job, I had one job to do, and I didn't do it, but I was doing security, right? And helping people who needed assistance and directing people who needed direction. And people were telling me, Fernando, thank you for watching over us, because they noticed me doing that more than I was really doing what I was supposed to do. But it was really good. But then there was a lot of times where I got stopped by people I know, and it was pretty fun. It was very tiring. I got to work at 7 in the morning, and I was there till I think it was like around 10:30, 11. I can't remember now. But I clocked in. I don't know if you guys saw the post, but I clocked in. I think it was 21,500 something steps that day. And man, let me tell you, on Sunday when I woke up, um, the bottom of my feet did not hurt, but the top of my feet hurt. Oh my God, I've never experienced that before. Painful. And then my shins are still sore. I have shin splints because we were on concrete. And yeah, so thank you guys for praying for me. I saw all of y'all's posts that y'all were praying. And thank you, because we totally needed it. It was a great night. We had a few people give their life to the Lord. And a lot of our attendees were donors, and they helped to donate to our nonprofit that I work for. And it was a really, really good evening, and the Lord was in it 100%. And it was pretty awesome. So I will say that, and thank you guys for praying for me, because it was a truly long night. And then I had to get up early on Sunday, so it wasn't fun. But yeah, thank you for your prayers. I think that was it was a good night, and stuff like that. So all right, guys, I think I'm going to let you guys go early tonight. I just wanted to jump on tonight and kind of share these things with you tonight, because I think we need to keep them in prayer. We need to continue to pray for our troops. We need to pray for this conflict. We need to pray for our leaders that are leading us, and that God would just give them his wisdom. I think that's so important. And we need to pray for the families who have lost loved ones in all of this, in the conflict over there, and just with the stuff that's popping off here in the United States. And I just think it's so important for all of us to have this awareness about us wherever we go. It's not the same anymore. And it's come to a point where we really have to be very careful when we go out, and we need to just kind of have an exit plan wherever we go, right? I can tell you, for example, if you go to the movies, you're sitting in the theater, there are 2 to 3 doors within that one room that say exit, right? And so if something goes off in that theater, right? And we you can look back at incidents that have happened before in the US in theaters. Wherever the sound is, you go to the opposite exit to get out, right? If you can't, stay low, and wait, right? But if you can get out, go away from the sound and go to that opposite exit. I think that's just so important for people to know, and a lot of people don't know that exit means exit outside, right? So that's just one example. But your grocery store usually has two exits in the front. Yeah, two exits in the front. At least over here they do. And then you have your back exits also in the back of the store. You may not know them, but they're there, and they're going to be labeled. So that's just some information you should already know. And same thing with restaurants. You have an in and out, probably the same door, but there's going to be exits in the back. So just be vigilant, guys. I'm telling you, we are living in a time that it is a nutty world, and we have to stay vigilant. So, all right, guys, I'm going to let y'all go. I'm going to go get some rest, because I'm still tired from the weekend, and need to get some more rest. So, I'm so excited you guys came to hang out with me tonight. And I hope that you guys have a good evening, and look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's video. All of you over here on TikTok, if you have not followed my channel over on YouTube, do that, because that is where all of our community is, all of our engagement is with videos and things like that. So join us on my YouTube channel, God's Prepared Warrior, on YouTube, and hope to see you there. Guys, have a good night. God bless you. I'm praying for you. Thank you so much for praying for me and for my wife. And thank you guys for just tagging along and being my friend. I'm excited that you guys were here tonight. Have a good night, guys, and God bless. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.